Welcome to PC Politics, real, raw, and relevant. Brought to you by Spectacular Magazine. I'm your host, Phyllis, Coley, CEO and publisher of Spectacular Magazine. PC Politics, we talk about a little bit of everything because we believe that everything that happens affects us, whether it's happening in your local town, whether it's happening in your state government, whether it's happening with federal government, it still all affects us. That's why here on PC Politics, we talk to the candidates, we talk to the politicians, we talk to voters, and we talk about issues. Today, my guest is the Reverend Michael Page, who is a candidate for Durham County Commissioner. Hi, and welcome today.
Thank you, Phyllis. Good to be back.
It's good. Thank you so much. So, when I introduced you, and I'm saying a candidate, and yes, you are a candidate, but not for re-election, but to be elected again.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
The reason why, because in 2000, I served as an elected office in Durham Public Schools Board of Education, and then from 2004 to 2016, I served as a Durham County Board of Commissioners in the elected office. So I was defeated in my last election, so I'm back again to hopefully be successful in winning this election this time.
Well, you have a direct line.
I hope I have a direct line, but I really hope that this direct line can really impact our community.
Yes, it does. So when you talk about impacting our community, what type of things are you talking about?
We have seen a lot of change in our community in the last decade, a lot of severe changes to communities, impacting individuals, people having a very difficult time of surviving. This is the first time in our community that I know of that we've ever talked about food insecurities and poverty affecting us so greatly, and it's really time that we put hands on and do something about it and really help every citizen become successful.
Do you have any initiatives or plans that you want to introduce when you're in office?
Well, it's my hope that we will continue to provide support for families, for communities, individuals, for particular people who go through severe hardships in their lives. But again, I think one of the key components that people suffer from these social behaviors is simply because they don't have a job. The economic decline in this community is really great, and it's very difficult for people to find employment, and that's one of the things I want to continue focusing on, employment for every qualified individual. Whether you have a PhD or whether you have no D, we want to give everybody an opportunity to train, to be able to really work, and to be able to have a job and be a functioning member of society.
But Michael, I hear all these things about that there are jobs, and I'm seeing things, well, this deal was signed and that's going to be 400 jobs, and this deal was signed and there's another 100 jobs. So where are these jobs? Or is it that people aren't trained for those particular jobs?
That's the bottom line. They're not trained for these particular jobs, and we really have to say to companies, we want you here, but we also want you to come and bring a training program so that our citizens can train for these particular positions and learn the skills and trades and really jump right in and become, a member of your team and become productive members of your team. I think that's really where the problem has been. We lure a lot of people to this community, which we're grateful to have, but we need to really serve the people that are currently in Durham and those who have just high school diplomas or GEDs, and they really need a boost up to be able to give them an opportunity to develop into one of these skills or the trades that's currently in the market at this time.
Do you think that public schools, especially since you run county commissioners and the commissioners fund the schools, do you think that schools should go back to teaching trades, and that everybody does not need to be on that track to college, although you work at a university?
Absolutely. No, I agree with that, and I really think that it's important because there are some students who are gifted and who really want to kind of participate in that particular skill or trade, and they really want an opportunity to learn that and to pursue it as a career, and maybe later in life decide, now I want to go pursue a degree to help create a business model for the skill that I have. But I definitely think we should offer those kinds of trades. We have so many young people now who don't have any skills or trades, and they don't have anything to offer, and it's really because we have not offered them these opportunities.
And see, because back in the day, and you could do shop, and you could learn how to fix a car, and just all kinds of things.
Cosmetology, culinary, all of those wonderful skills. They exist here. I go out to eat at least 3 times a week, and I'm being served by young people who have developed the skill to learn how to cook and be able to provide positive presentation skills that they can be proud of. Yeah.
What about the homeless situation here?
The homeless situation here is much like we experience in our nation, but it's not a reason to say it's okay. We really have to find a way to get every person off of the streets at night. Believe it or not, we have Urban Ministry Center that does a wonderful job. We have other smaller homeless kinds of venues for people. But again, even at our church, we open up during the winter months when it's 40 degrees or below, simply because no one should have to be sleeping outside when it's cold. No one. It's just absolutely forbidden.
Do you have an initiative or anything that you want to introduce?
Well, I think we really got to expand our efforts. There are some people who experience a lot of mental issues, who do not want to be inside of a facility, but when you tell people the building is full, we really need to open up more space. We got to develop more space. This is a human issue. This is an issue that every resident should be dealing with. Here in our faith community, we should not allow anyone to be outside sleeping. And so this homeless situation has got to end, and it can end if we put our minds together and we really look at ways to how to build opportunities for people to be able that cannot survive otherwise.
Do you think that this has led to the increase in crime?
In some ways it has, because people resort to crime simply because they don't have any other way of surviving or making ends meet. But however, we don't want that. I think that's an uncomfortable way of really trying to survive. I think that we can really give people a hand up to try to help them to get the opportunities they need and be able to kind of maneuver through each individual day, and particularly homeless families. That's really common now, and trying to find locations for them. Children are not aware of this, and they really don't necessarily deserve this, so they really do deserve an opportunity to be able to get the resources they need.
So with this election that's happening on the primary is it for the Durham County Commissioner candidates, correct?
Absolutely. March 3rd, you have to go to the polls either during early voting or on March 3rd, because this determines who will be on the ballot in November when the general election occurs, which will eliminate a lot of the candidates now. So we need you to go to the polls right away.
But even if the top 5 will be on the ballot in November. However, it's just really a procedure. I mean, because those 5 have really already been elected.
They have been elected for the most part.
For the most part.
But if there's a Republican candidate or independent candidate, then they would run against those individuals during that time.
Is it still time that somebody could get in the race?
I'm actually not clear on that part, but I know that people were to file, particularly during this filing period we had up until December the 20th.
The main thing we want people to understand is they need to vote.
They need to vote.
They need to vote.
Please go vote. This is a more important election than ever. But we really need to get out and vote.
It really is. I mean, there's so many issues. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we started doing this show. There was just so many things to talk about, and there's so many issues.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to this election, and to be able to, that we will have people that will address those issues. And like I try to say to people, not just introduce initiatives, but actually carry out the initiatives.
Absolutely.
I hope that this will happen.
I commit myself to doing this once again. I'm passionate about people, passionate about communities, and I enjoy serving the Durham community in this manner.
Thank you, Michael Page. I have been visiting with the Reverend Michael Page, who is a candidate for Durham County Commissioner. I'm Phyllis Coley, and until next time, see ya. Thank you so much.
Spectacular Magazine. We on the scene.